I went to Epic Universe, and today I'm going to tell you everything I did. This video is going to be packed full of spoilers, so if you don't want them, please click out of the video now. We are going to be talking about all the rides I rode, all the food I ate, all the merchandise I bought, and even all the bathrooms I used. So let's get into it. It's going to be a very long video, so sit back and relax. This is a very special friends and family preview for team members, so I'm very thankful. Thank you for inviting me. You know who you are. I just want to say there are no photos and videos allowed. The only photos we are allowed to share are the photos that were taken by the professional color vision photographers there in front of the portals. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures here, but there's not going to be too much to show you. It's mostly going to be me talking. So just know that I slept only a few hours and my hair looks like I was on roller coasters all day, but I really just couldn't wait to talk about this. So forgive me, just listen to me. So let's get into it. Started our day arriving, and we were the first car, parking for the parking. It was fantastic. We were the first people up at the entrance. It was just perfect. So I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know how to tell you all this. So the parking is going to be uncovered. There was no covering, so no shade. We parked very close because, like I said, this is a preview, so there aren't very many people in the park. So we had a really close parking spot. It was a very short walk to the entrance of the park. They have the metal detectors there that you walk through, and then the entrance to the park is right there. They're doing the photo validation with the face thing, so you just look at the camera. So it's very easy to get in. And then when you walk in, there's the Chronos. And it's beautiful, guys. I mean, so detailed. Even when you're walking through them, make sure you look at everything all around you, because it just takes you in. It's so detailed, so many colors and shapes and the sounds as you're going through. The sounds as you go through the portals, just listen to the sounds. It's incredible. I think I was so overwhelmed walking through the Chronos. It was just sensory overload. And you just walk out and you see Celestial Park. And it's so wide and open, and you see, I think it's the Luna statue there, and you can see the Helios right there. It's so open, and there's the Atlantic restaurant is right there with all the windows, and there's fountains going everywhere, and the music is amazing, and you'll just love it. And then sorry, I'm getting overwhelmed. I didn't expect to get this overwhelmed. I promise I'll get more detailed as we get in, but that first moment of walking through the Chronos, I can't even tell you. And I just didn't even know what to do. It just was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And like I said, it's just so open. I love the openness. And I know they're going to start having, more things added. The park opens May 22nd. So like I said, this is just a preview. Not everything is finished. So I know that there's going to be more things added. But even right now, it's great. The park was not like officially open yet. They were kind of holding people for a couple minutes there. And we walked into the Christmas shop. Well, I think it's the Christmas shop, but they've got like a mixture of merchandise and some Christmas stuff. And all of a sudden it was snowing outside in front of the Christmas store. There's built-in snow. So we ran out and we just spun in the snow outside of the Christmas store. And I think that was like blowing my mind. I promise I'll get more coherent as we get into this, but the snow and the view and it was the perfect start to the morning. And then they sent us to get a little gift. We were all able to pick up this little Epic Universe little pack here, and they had them in blue and black. I picked the blue one. I know you're wondering which portal we went to first. We went to Dark Universe first. It was beautiful. The portal is amazing. I can't wait to see this at night, but the portal was fantastic. And as you walk through the portal, there's, you know, like screens with the colors changing all around you. It's all this purple and just, I can't describe this. Sorry. It's all this purple around you. And as you walk through the portal, all of a sudden the portal starts transforming and it's almost like you're going through like a barn. There's like kind of like rafters and you walk out into Darkmoor and the full reveal isn't right there. You see all the cemetery and there's some coffins there and there you can pose in these coffins that are standing up and you can see where some of maybe the graves have been dug up and things have maybe escaped. And as you make your way through and you walk around that corner, you see the village and there's this well and it's just the fog is coming out of the well and you just see this open village and there's people in lab coats. You just feel like overwhelmed. Every detail, the signs, there are signs that have bubbles going through them. It's just an incredible look. And then as you make your way a little further, you know, you'll see Frankenstein Manor. This view when you're there and the manor, the manor is going to be a photo spot for everyone. This thing is fantastic. It's huge. It feels life-size and you walk into it, which is incredible. And as you're looking at it, the windmill is kind of off in the distance. It's so beautiful. And I felt like everything was really wide and open. And maybe that's because it was during a preview when no one was there. As I said, no photos or videos, which I really actually loved because I got to just be in the moment. As someone that creates content, I spend so much time just holding my phone and like living through my phone that this was amazing to just walk in and look with my eyes and see Frankenstein Manor and the windmill and everybody out, and there was a violinist and the Invisible Man was there. I'm getting overwhelmed again. So we walked in and we decided, because it was so empty, there was almost nobody there. We went into the gift shops and you can hear rats up in the rafters. The merchandise is amazing. The merchandise is amazing. I had to keep restraining myself because I hadn't seen all the merchandise yet, so I didn't want to buy too much and I didn't want to carry too much. But the Monsters merch is fantastic, out of this world. They have the Monster Makeup Boutique as well. You may remember when Universal Studios Florida had the Monster Makeover Boutique. They have that here. It's a permanent thing, so you can get your transformation. Just be aware that if you get your makeup done, you cannot buy alcohol. They are not able to verify your ID if your face is painted. So if you're going to drink, do it before you get your face painted. Just wanted to throw that out there because I'm going to throw a couple little facts that you might need to know while you're there. So that's one of them. So we went through the stores, we came out, and then we decided to go to Monsters Unchained. That was unbelievable. First of all, you walk through the manor and you feel like you're in an actual manor. You walk in and there's these winding staircases up and you make your way through the queue and eventually you go up those staircases. And the queue is intense. It's intense. I think it's very intense. Like electricity, all these wires that are just, you know, like surging with blue light and loud sounds, and there's bodies and things of like a scanner over a Frankenstein body that's showing you the insides. There are some, you know, items that are like somebody's muscles open with pins. There's a lot of stuff. All the tools, all the things, you know, that they need to use to build a Frankenstein, I guess, or a monster, sorry. Oh, everyone's gonna hit me in the comments to build a monster, sorry. So we go through the queue, you go up this beautiful winding staircase, and then you're upstairs and you go through more queue. The queue is long, it's huge, it's definitely worth seeing. You walk into the first pre-show room and there's a video where you see Igor and he kind of explains what's happening with the ride and the ride system. There's also a display that shows the actual ride vehicle. When we were there, it wasn't moving, but I believe it's supposed to move. So when Igor is showing the steering, I think the arm is supposed to move to show you how the vehicle moves. The ride system is basically like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, but this does not make you nauseous. This is totally different in so many ways. It may be the same system, but like the feeling is completely different. I have a hard time with Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. It kind of brings me like within an inch of my life. I can ride it, but it does make me feel sick afterwards. I could ride Monsters Unchained all day long and I would probably never get sick. The way that the ride is, there's less of that like brain mix up, if that's kind of what I think of. With Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, there are moments that you are hooked up to a screen that's moving kind of in a circle, but you feel like you're flying forward. So I always feel like that your body knows that you're moving one direction, your brain is telling you you're moving a different direction, and that always, throws me off. But Monsters Unchained has a couple screens, but it's just to add to the whole experience. It really doesn't disorient you like that. It does not make you nauseous. I was really worried because this was the first ride of the day and I thought, oh, if this ride makes me sick and ruins my day, I'm gonna be really upset. So I was really, really nervous getting on. The loading platform is huge and it's dark and it's already giving you the scary vibes. And there's 4 seats on each vehicle and the 2 seats in the center are bigger. This is not like Harry Potter. Harry Potter, all the seats are the same. The 2 center seats are larger on Monsters Unchained. So if you're, needing a larger seat, the middle ones are the ones to go for. They have test seats outside, of course, but just letting you know, the 2 in the middle are bigger. When you get on, it's kind of like a coffin shaped thing. You pull the harness down and it takes you in. I really don't want to spoil it, but I have to just say how awesome this is because there's so many animatronics. And it feels so open. It feels so wide. You don't feel as enclosed, but everything's coming close to you. You go by and you see Igor. The Dracula is mind-blowing. Wait, I gotta back up. I just skipped right over, sorry. I just skipped over from the pre-show, just right onto the ride. Let's back it up. I started talking about the ride system and then I just got to talking about getting on the ride. Let me back it up. After you go through the first pre-show with Igor, you go into the second pre-show. And this one is amazing. And we were the only ones in the pre-show. Probably never, ever happen again. You've got Victoria Frankenstein there. She's an animatronic. And she's kind of explaining the whole ride to you, the whole controlling the monsters thing. And then she brings out her monster who walks out. This animatronic walks out. The movement on these is so fluid. If you follow me on any of my other socials, you've probably seen me post animatronics from Japan all the time. And these are amazing as well. They're so fluid, and this Frankenstein monster walks out, and you're gonna have to pay attention to the storyline and things like that. I'm not gonna tell you the storylines. But you're basically gonna go on a tour, and you know, Dracula is contained, but he escapes. And as you're going through, the way the animatronics come at you, I mean, when Dracula's there and he just comes at you like this several times, there was even, we got off the ride and one person says, I couldn't tell if that was an animatronic or a screen at the one scene. And I'm like, I thought the same thing. I was on the ride going, I can't even tell if that's a screen or an animatronic. I'm pretty sure it's just an animatronic in front of a screen. But again, it looks animated because it's moving so fluidly. I will say some of the effects did not work. Some of the animatronics were not working. This is not open yet, so I'm not giving you a review of this. You know, I'm just giving you my experience of it. When the Phantom turns towards you, when the creature grabs at, you know, tries to grab at you, I feel really bad telling you all these things, but I know there are some people that probably aren't going to get here for a long time or are just really excited and want to know the details. So that's why I'm giving these details. But just everything, the ride will move you almost like backwards, like, you know, like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. There's a moment where the bell is over you and you see Hunchback in there, the mummy that grabs at you. We rode monsters twice. We rode later on in the day too, but the first time we rode, one of the effects didn't work. So when I saw it later that it was working, it was like, oh, that's so cool. I thought it was great the first time. And then when I saw the projection on it, it was like, oh, that made it even better. So, wow. But there are so many animatronics in it. I mean, the brides are spinning around and there are some screens, but they don't throw you off like that. This is the ride that's going to have a huge wait. This is the ride that everyone's going to want to do, and you need to do it. So make this a priority. I, again, was very, very nervous I was going to get sick afterwards, but I thought I could ride that all day. It might swing you around a little bit, like the arm is swinging you around, you know. Why am I animating this? But I mean, there are moments that you feel like you're kind of laying backwards, but you're looking at things, and it goes into where you're transitioning and the things you're seeing. And because there's so many animatronics, it really just, it's perfect. This is how all rides should be. This is how all queues should be. I'm sorry I said I wasn't going to review stuff, but this is perfection. After we got off Monsters Unchained, we decided to grab some snacks. So we went over to the Burning Blade Tavern. We ordered a mocktail, and we also ordered the mead. The mocktail was delicious. It's super sweet. There's 3 different flavors of syrup in it. I think there's like pineapple, some sort of berry, and something else, like an apple maybe. It tastes kind of like tart and sweet, delicious, almost like a Jolly Rancher. The bartender said maybe like an apple fun dip. While we were ordering our drinks, one of the locals was there. So we had a character interacting with us at the bar, and it was so funny because just the things that were, you know, going on. They asked where we were from and what monsters are in that area, different, you know, it was just a great interaction. We saw them interacting with other guests as well. So it just adds to the experience because this restaurant is so detailed. It's a bar. It's so detailed. Everything, all the monster heads, it's beautiful inside. And to have like a character actor in there adding to it, it was awesome. We went outside and we had our drinks, and then we mobile ordered some food. And while we were mobile ordering, I decided to walk over to the little snack cart or snack stand. I haven't learned the names of these places yet. I apologize. There's a little snack stand that sells the little cinnamon donut bites and the Frankenstein pretzel. So I got the Frankenstein pretzel and the cinnamon donut bite things. I loved the donut bite things. I was surprised. They were super fresh. The icing was really sweet. There was enough icing on it and enough cinnamon, like sugar on it. They were great. The Frankenstein pretzel is awesome. It looks like a Frankenstein monster head with the little bolts and everything. Think of the Shrexel. This is basically the Shrexel. I don't like the Shrexel. If you like the Shrexel, you like this. I think, to me, this is more like bread and butter with salt on it. I don't think it has a super pretzel-y taste. It comes with a white cheese. I thought the white cheese was better than the green cheese. I wonder why. I don't know. The white cheese that comes with it was good. But this, I just wasn't a fan of the Frankenstein monster pretzel. I loved the donut bite things though. So then I went over and our food had come from mobile ordering, and we got, I'm sorry, I should have looked up the names of these things from the menu before I started this. We got the little rocks, bites. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they call them at Burning Blade, but at HHN we called them the, rocks from hell? If you remember the little cheese bites, the little like black rock looking things from the Slaughter Cinema booth at HHN last year, this is the same thing. It's the same bites. You get more of them in the order, I think. And it comes with this spicy sauce. It's kind of like a sriracha-y. It's a spicy sauce. I loved the sauce. That is not what they served at HHN. So the little bites are the same, but the sauce is different, and the sauce really makes the difference. Loved them. I loved them at HHN too. The coolest thing, I got the Hunter's steak, the pretzel, and I really just expected it to be like a pretzel loaf, like, oh yeah, it's a steak, oh yeah, because pretzels, you know, like a loaf kind of looks like a steak, like you could sell that, but this looks like a steak. This looks like a dagger. Forget the Frankenstein monster pretzel. Get the Hunter's steak pretzel. It looks like a dagger. It's got like a handle. It looks like a handle. I mean, the pretzel is twisted to a point. Like there's two pieces braided together at the end that form the point, like a steak. And the thicker part looks like a handle. And it's so garlicky. I can't wait to have another one of those. So good. Get that. So I loved the mocktail. I loved the little bites. I loved the Hunter's steak. And I love the little cinnamon bites. And if you like a Shrexel, get the Frank pretzel. But otherwise, I didn't care for the pretzel. So after we finished eating, Curse of the Werewolf was not open yet. So we decided to just kind of head out. The violinist was out there playing and telling stories and all sorts of tales. And everyone was kind of like hanging out, listening. The Invisible Man was just hanging out there too, just chilling. It was great. Wish I could have taken a picture. Had to take a picture with my eyes. But seeing just this empty Darkmoor Village and the Invisible Man just kind of like leaning up there, it was great. It was awesome. Afterwards, we decided to head out of there and go over to Super Nintendo World next. Of course, as we walked through Celestial Park, which was empty, it is so wide. There's a Starbucks in Celestial Park. There's a little stage, and when we were going through, there was some musicians playing on the stage. There was somebody on a bike. I didn't get to experience all of the park, but there were so many things happening. But when we were going by, I could see that. It seemed like maybe an original song kind of thing going on there. I'm gonna have to go back, obviously, and get closer, but I danced through Celestial Park, and I probably looked like a fool, but nobody saw me because it was empty. Sorry, I was really excited. All I ever wanted was to see this park without a million people in it, and I got to see that. So I jumped around. There's fountains all over, and then there's the Constellation Carousel right there, and there's fountains all around the carousel, and there's fountains all towards the front, and as you're going through, they're just going, and there's lights, and there's music, and it's just... So we walked through there, and then we decided to go to Super Nintendo World next. And this is much different than the one in Hollywood, and I think it's more like the one in Japan. I have not been to the one in Japan. But the portal is fantastic. It's so different than the warp pipe that you go through at the other park. If you look at the portal, you can see all the characters around in gold, and then at the very top, in the photo that is probably on the screen right now, you will see like the little, I don't know what you call that, 8-bit Mario looking, the old school Mario. Well, that coin turns, it moves, so it'll flip and then show like the more modern, like cartoony version of Mario. I think that's a really cool detail, that even the portals have little moving details on them. So as you walk in, there's 2 escalators up. Yeah, I know, escalators, right? There's escalators up, and you're going through the warp pipe standing on an escalator. And it's kind of cool because, you know, the effects are kind of going around you. But if you can't take the escalator, just know that as soon as you walk through the portal, there is a little opening on the right. So you can go through there. And it's really cool that they did this, because it still gives you the feeling of going through a warp pipe, but where you're going to the elevator. So I think that's a great thing, because you don't lose the experience if you can't take the escalator. We ended up, when we left, we walked through that way, so that's why we saw it, and I thought, oh, it's really cool. It actually was almost cooler than the escalator, because it's like kind of like there's a little dark area first with like the different colors kind of, and then you go through the warp pipe feeling thing before you get to the elevator. So I thought it was really cool. We took the escalator up, and this is another one. When you walk out, the reveal, I'm so sorry, Hollywood. This is nice. You walk out and you're on the second level. Obviously, you've gone up an escalator, so you're on a second level. You've got Princess Peach's castle behind you, and then there's like a balcony, and you can look out, and down below you see Mario and Luigi's meet and greet, and you see the entrance to Yoshi, and when you're looking out, you see the Yoshis going around. There are some games up there. We did a couple that are, it's almost like a jackpot, like they're spinning and you try to get them to all match to get coins. We did those. Up on the second level, that's where you go into Mario Kart. Mario Kart was down the entire time we were there. At least when it was open in the morning, we were trying to get on it in the afternoon, and we had team members radio over to see if it had opened, and it had not opened when we checked throughout the day. So no Mario Kart for us, but the entrance is on the second level. There's a gift shop. There's a lot of shops. There's a lot of snack stands too, but the snack stands were not open yet, so we didn't get to try any of the snack stands. There's an elevator down, so if you're on that level and you want to go down, there's an elevator. That's the one thing I thought felt like it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. There seemed to be a lot of people waiting for the elevator already, and there weren't even that many people at the park, so concerning to me. But we took the stairs, and there's a lot of stairs. Felt very Hollywood. If you've been to Hollywood, there's a lot of stairs in Hollywood. Felt very Hollywood. I heard people going, my calves are burning. I go, okay, it's not just me, because well, there's a lot of stairs. I'm getting there. So we We took the stairs down because you basically go up the escalator and you come out on the second level, and then we took the stairs down. And we went to Yoshi first. And this is super fun. I really liked it. The queue was really cute and the ride was really cute. I rode in a green Yoshi by myself, and when you ride the ride, there's a little lap bar on you and there's 3 eggs. It's the same thing as Japan, but when you go around, you're going to be looking for those 3 colored eggs, and when you see them, hit them, and then you'll get the coins. If you have a power-up band, you're going to tap it when you get on first. So it's a cute ride. I was surprised at how much I love the little indoor portion, because a lot of it is outdoor, but there is an indoor portion that's got like baby Mario and baby Princess Peach. Baby Princess Peach on the pink Yoshi was so cute. I loved it. This is a really fun one. It's slow moving. Everyone's gonna love this one. After we got off Yoshi, we decided to go to Donkey Kong, and it was closed. It was down. And we got lucky because right when we were in the land, like hanging out, it opened. So we managed to like run and get on right as it reopened. But it's so cool to go from where, you know, Mario is, and then you go through, you go through another, you go through almost like another portal, which again means expansions in the future, because it felt like you were going through another portal to go to Donkey Kong Country. And I just love the way Donkey Kong Country was spelled out, and how there was like the 2 spears crossed behind it. It just looked really cool. And when you walk in that land, it feels like, I think Donkey Kong Country is better than the Mario Land. Are we calling it? I think we're calling it Mario Land. I think the Donkey Kong looks better. It just, I don't know, something, the way the vehicles are moving, and you just feel like you're in the center of the video game. Donkey Kong was my favorite game on Super Nintendo, so this is one of my favorites. And you can see the ride going around and going by the water, and it looks like it's jumping tracks, and it's just so lush, and there's water flowing, and the temple, it's so impressive. And seeing the ride vehicles going around just adds to the whole experience. The gift shop is like the big airplane. The Donkey Kong meet and greet was not open yet, so I didn't get to meet him. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to when I go back. The ride was amazing though. It was one of my top favorite rides at the park. It was so cool. It was a little rough, but I loved it. There are 4 people to a mine car, and the queue is really awesome as well. They have a giant Cranky Kong animatronic in the queue. Awesome. I love the animatronics in the queue. I love detailed queues. So we get on the vehicle, and I thought the ride was great. It was just long enough. It was fun. It was a little more exciting than I expected it to be. It was great. Going up the hill, and you do feel like you're jumping the tracks. Like when you're in the vehicle, you see that you're jumping the tracks. And there's a moment that you think you're going one way, and then you go the other, and there's a couple little characters inside. It was great. And you go by the waterfall, and it felt great. It felt long enough. You went around a lot. It was just, you went by the water. You can see the land as you're going through. It was perfect. It was one of my favorites. After Donkey Kong, we decided to go over to Toadstool Cafe and get some food there. I just ordered a kid's meal because we were planning on eating a few other places in the park. So I just got the little Mario burger it comes with the little Mario figure in your burger, and it comes with a little flag in your corn. It's the same kid's meal that you can see out in Hollywood. I was disappointed because I really wanted the Princess Peach cake, and they said they sold out within the first hour. And it was only like 2 hours in, so they ran out of all the desserts. Because I wanted a snack. But they ran out of all the desserts. So I'm coming back for that Princess Peach cake next time. after, oh, I got the garlic knots too. So we had a couple little snacks there. And after that, we decided we were going to go kind of wander around and maybe head to Isle of Burke. But once we left the land, we decided we would go ride Constellation Carousel. So we went over to the carousel and it is beautiful. There are 7 different songs and they're kind of a different vibe. I felt like when I rode, I cried. I think the music was also like a little more emotional, but there are some more like upbeat songs too. I think it might give kind of that vibe of maybe like Happy Ride with Baymax, where like everyone's kind of like listening and there's different tracks you might get when you ride. So it kind of makes the experience a little different each time, that the songs can be different. I like that. A lot of the carousel horses were marked like out of Stardust, so not working fully. I think the carousel was the thing we waited the longest for, and it was only because it seemed like they were maybe working on some things. It felt like it took a long time between loading each group. The animals are beautiful and they all have little twinkling lights on them. So at night, this is going to be the thing to do at night. The preview didn't go until after dark because the park is still under construction. So they need to get people out so they can get back to work. So this is going to be one you got to do at night, but we obviously rode during the day and you can see all the little twinkling lights. But if you look up on the ceiling, there are stars and things moving. And if you look at the glass around the outside, around the outside, it's the phases of the moon. Beautiful. The vehicles, the carousel horses are different animals. I rode a lion. So there was a lion, a rabbit, a bear. There was the peacock. I love the peacock. The peacock, I think, is the one, it looked like if you need to do a full transfer of like a wheelchair onto the vehicle, it looks like it's one that the back goes down and you can kind of just wheel up into it and the back can go up so you can stay in the chair. And it's a big peacock. There's a couple small like sitting style animals. So there were some that have like 2 seats and then a smaller little seat here between the 2 seats. So like mom and dad, mom and mom, dad and dad, parents can sit there and have the little one sit on the little seat there. So it's kind of cool that 3 people can ride with the little one, and the little one will be seated up a little bit and kind of have the little handles there so they feel more like they're riding an actual carousel horse. The carousel horses, I'm calling them horses, carousel animals, sorry. Carousel animals, those are also 2-seaters. So, you know, parent, little one sit in front of them and you can ride together. And they have really nice seat belts that come across and click. Great, I love it. Like not the, you know, kind of the ones that just kind of like, just pretend it exists on you. You know, the little seat belts on most carousels that you kind of just loosely do. Like these are actually like good seat belts that click in because you're going to be moving. It lifts up when it starts and then they do move. It's very slow. It does move around. It does not make you dizzy. There's no dizziness to it. It's not an intense spin or anything. It moves forward. It kind of moves backwards. I noticed that it looked like some carousel horses were just on the outside and some were on the center plates. I went for one that was on a center plate, so it moved around. And I cried. And it wasn't even just about the ride that made me cry. It was just more because I was sitting there and you can see all of Celestial Park as you're going around on this horse animal. Gonna keep saying horses. As you're going around on the carousel, you can see all of Celestial Park, and there's just fountains, just water everywhere, and looking out at Celestial Park and seeing all the beauty and just emptiness and just how I'm sitting in Celestial Park riding Constellation Carousel. I cried. It looked stupid, but it was great. It wasn't the only time I cried, but I think there was only a few times people saw me cry, so that was probably one of them. But it was great. It was perfect. Loved it. But definitely do that one at night. That's a great one, but do it at night. what did we do next? Oh, after we got off the carousel, we decided just to pop into Pizza Moon just to kind of look at what it looked like inside. We were going to go back and eat there. We ran out of time. But when we walked through, it was beautiful. Super, super good theming. I loved it. Like, I don't know if it's like a steampunk Jules Verne, like the vibe kind of. I don't know how to really describe it, but everything's moving and just, and you know, it's just lively. It's beautiful. I loved it. It's beautiful. I can't wait to eat there. I will obviously be back, but it was beautiful. I was glad that we got to just walk in some places and look. After that, we also went into the store that sells Nintendo merchandise that's kind of outside of the land, and we checked that out. It's gorgeous in there. The constellations on the ceiling, and also I feel like this was the first time I ever saw a mannequin in a wheelchair at Universal Orlando. I made that comment because I thought, at least at Universal Orlando, I have not, to my knowledge, seen a mannequin in a wheelchair before. I think that's great. I really love that. I love, you know, accessibility and inclusion and all those things. So seeing that was, you know, really cool. And again, like I mentioned with the carousel, the vehicle that you can just kind of get on, I love that. And the ability that if you can't go up the escalators, there's an elevator, but you still get the portal experience. I really love that nobody's gonna feel like left out here. Anyway, beautiful store, lots of merchandise, overwhelmed. It was so sensory overload, and I felt like I just didn't have enough time for this whole park. It was just so much. After we looked around the shop, we headed over to How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Another one. The portal is amazing. We, my friends, have dragons. And if you look at right above the portal, there's like an orange sphere, and you'll see the shape of a dragon, like basically a night fury going around. So it's moving. Again, the portals even have small details on them that move. I love that. So the portal is beautiful, and even before you get in the portal, you already feel like you're getting into Berk. But this is my favorite land. The reveal, that was the best reveal. When you walk through this portal, again, there's so much to tell you and show you. I can't even get it all in this video. But when you walk through the portal, all the colors are changing around you. You hear like a ticking sound, like the ticking of a clock, the Chronos, the sounds are there. The lights, the lighting, the orange color as you're going through into Berk. And as you walk through the portal, there's this giant rock it's got like an inscription on it. And then right there is just the land, and it's massive. It's everything. It's just the colors, the movement, the water, the figures are larger than life. This is the one that when you walk in, this is the one that when you walk in, it's gonna blow you away. This might be everyone's favorite land because it is so themed. It is so beautiful. It is perfection. Every detail of Berk is there. And you can walk up and see the water and the ride moving. And there were boxes there that had like, you could press the button and have your photo taken. So it looks like maybe instead of a photographer there may be a photo box, kind of like the Jurassic or the DeLorean, like the ones that you just push and you move and get in front and the camera takes your picture. So that's an interesting choice there, but it's gorgeous. That photo will be life-changing. It's great. We walked through And there's a couple little merchandise carts there and stands. We did not eat at Spitfire Grill, but it was open. The seating area was open, which is really cool because if you go down there, you can watch fire drill go by. And everyone says you get really soaked on fire drill. And my friend said they didn't bring their poncho, so we weren't going to ride. So we didn't ride fire drill. And it does look like it does get wet. But you can go down in that seating area and watch the vehicles go by. And it's so cool. All of these like cut out, like these wooden, wooden figures that have targets on them, and the people are on barges, and there's like little water blasters on both sides, and they're kind of like trying to blast the targets, and when they hit the targets, like a dragon wing moved, and there was like explosions of water. It looks so fun. I want to ride it, but it's gonna be perfect for the summer, I'll tell you that. It's gonna be great. So that looked really fun, but we didn't get to do that. There was no showings of the Untrainable Dragon, so we didn't get to see the show, so I'm going to have to do that on my next time. We went over and we met Toothless. They have a Toothless meet and greet. I can't believe it. It was amazing. I loved it. It was fantastic. We also saw Rough Nut and Tough Nut, the twins, walking around, and we saw Astrid. We did not see Hiccup. We saw a couple other Vikings. Toothless was meeting with a different Viking, so not, he had his own little name and story, I guess, but it wasn't like a character from the movie or the shows. Toothless is amazing. You're going to be able to meet other dragons. We only met Toothless. I am in love. It's a robot. It's an animatronic. It's not a person in a costume. If there's any, I hate saying these kind of things because I like character integrity. So it's not a person. It's animated animatronic. Think about the raptor encounter where the raptor is what you're really there to see, but the raptor handler is kind of doing the communication. So same kind of thing is that the Viking was kind of like telling us where we could pet Toothless and talking to us and talking about dragons with us, so that you're looking at Toothless, who is so animated, and the Viking is talking to you. But unlike raptor experience, the raptor encounter, Toothless is not trying to scare you. He's just gentle and sweet, and he sniffs you. He sniffed his nose, his little face, and his eyes, his expressions. He is so sweet, and we got to pet him, but just be very gentle with him. He's gentle with you, so be gentle with him. So please keep that in mind. Be very gentle. So we got to pet him. It was great. We got a photo with him, and when we got the photo back, I was blown away by his smile. He's so cute. I had no idea he was smiling like that. So when we saw the photo, it was like, oh my God, great. I love it. So we got to meet Toothless, and like I said, Astrid was out and the twins. So they were kind of just roaming characters. Like they were just kind of walking around and talking to people standing there. It wasn't like you lined up to meet them. And that may just be for the preview, but it was cool to see them roaming around talking. In the gift shop, you can adopt a dragon. So you can get a dragon egg, and they do a whole ceremony, hatching ceremony thing. So if they used to do adoption ceremony for pygmy puffs. I don't know if they do it very often, but this is kind of the same thing. I think they kind of make a big bells and whistles adoption when you get the egg. So if you're looking to get one of the baby dragon eggs, do it at Toothless's Treasures. Toothless's Treasures, whatever. It's the gift shop, I think, at the exit of Untrainable Dragon Show. So you can adopt a dragon. There was tons of great merchandise. I love this collection with this artwork on it. I know. They had blankets, they had pillows, they had long sleeve shirts. I love this artwork. There was a ton of different things. I also went to How to Treat Your Dragon. It's like their sweet shop with candy, and there are all different like packaged candies of rock candy that have the different dragon themes, different boxed candies, but then they have like a case line of treats. And they had cookies and cake pops and a couple other little things. They probably will get more stuff. It was just the preview, but I gotta say, the packaging, I hope you can see this. It's How to Treat Your Dragon. Like, it's, the packaging is actually themed. There's all the little fish here on the back, dragon on the front. And these are the kind of little details that, as a theme park fan, I remember theme parks being so invested in these little things, like specific bags for a specific store. And then over time, that just kind of went away. And so seeing this coming back with Epic Universe is, I mean, I'm excited. I'm just going to show you the cookie too. I got this from my mom. She loves the cookies at Universal. Maybe if I can open the bag. I don't want to rip the bag. My mom loves the cookies from Universal. So I always bring her a cookie. And since I couldn't take her to the preview, I got her a Night Fury cookie. So yeah, that is going to go to my mom. And I'm going to keep the bag because that's how I roll here. We decided to do Dragon Racers Rally. Dragon Racers Rally is the ones where you sit in the seat and you've got the wings and the arm kind of raises you up into the air and back down and around. It looks really scary. The people I were with were kind of like, you really want to do that? You sure? And I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to try it, and it wasn't bad. This one, you'll need to store your belongings when you ride. It's not a locker system at this attraction. It's kind of like little cubby spaces, and they're double-sided, so when you are about to get on, you put your items in the cubby space, and when that group is getting on, there's like a wall pulled over it so that people on this side can't access it, and when you get off, it's on your side to grab. So no locker system here, but you do have to store your belongings. I'm going to just jump back real quick to Monsters Unchained, because there you do have to use a locker. The locker systems are using the facial system, so you basically walk up, look at the camera, and then the locker opens. They are double-sided as well, so if you're familiar with Velocicoaster, where you put it in, get on the ride, and when you get off, it's on the opposite side. That this is in use at Monsters Unchained. The photo system, it's a little dark in there, so it didn't work for me. I ended up just getting a little card. The team member gave me a little card to use to scan for the locker, so I used a card. But I love the double-sided locker system. The lockers are bigger. The lockers are bigger. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much about my day that I'm forgetting some of these little details, and then as soon as they come in, I'm just gonna like jump back to them. So the lockers are bigger. They are not the small, thin ones. They're much bigger. I was able to fit my Loungefly. I was able to fit this large tote bag, and I still had space. You could fit your backpack in easily. I love that because I hate going to Universal Orlando and having to pay for the bigger locker when I bring like a camera or a bigger backpack. You don't have to pay, and they're bigger. It's great. It's great. So Monsters Unchained, we use the lockers there. And Dragon Racers Rally is just the little cubbyhole system. So you put them in and you take it off when you get off. The ride though was great. I loved it. It did not make me feel sick or scared. And I felt like as soon as I figured out like how to do the wings, it was over. Like it took a while to try to figure out the twisting pattern to kind of even get yourself to rock. And once I was like, oh, okay, I'm like, okay, this is it. It was like, oh, it's over. I was ready to throw myself that time. But I watched and I saw nobody getting themselves over. I saw one guy that I was like, he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it. And then just as I thought, oh, that was the next spin, he would have probably flipped, the ride was over. I think it's a little too short. I think they could add, you know, have one more rotation in the mix maybe, because again, once you finally get kind of the rhythm, it's over. So it just feels a little short, but it's great. It's good view. It's pretty. I liked it a lot. After we got off of that ride, we decided to go get some food at Mead Hall. And I have to tell you, they have kids' meals in boats. Oh, wait, hang on. Be right back. I had to show you. The kids' meals at Mead Hall come served in this Viking boat. And yes, I folded it apart and took it home because I'm crazy. But look at it. And the food even has a little Viking flag in it. So, and it's plastic. So it's actually like you can keep the flags. And we got different flags. Like each of us had a different flag in ours. But the meal served in this, again, this is like the theme park of my childhood memories of like special things, like your kid's meal being served in a boat. I mean, what kid wouldn't think this is awesome? What adult wouldn't think this is awesome? This is the stuff that, you know, I think theme parks used to be known for. That's why they're theme parks. There's a difference between a theme park and an amusement park. An amusement park, Cedar Point, go ride your rides. Theme park, it's supposed to be themed. This is theming. This is theming, guys. Sitting in Mead Hall, eating this is theming. This is a theme park. This is bringing the theme back to theme parks, guys. Boat, love it. The meal, though. I don't know how much this was. I don't know the price on the food. Whatever price it was, had to have been a great value because the meal, the portion size was amazing. I couldn't finish it. It was, I had the mac and cheese bites, and I think there were like 3 little fried triangle mac and cheese bites. There was sausage, and it was almost like an entire sausage, like cut up into little pieces. A big portion of fries, and they're calling them Nordic fries. If you've been to Mardi Gras this year, they're basically like the fries that they're now serving at the Canada booth with the poutine, and I believe they're the same fries that are now being served in Wizarding World, but they're so good. They're really good. The fries are amazing. And then a big pile of grapes on the vine, so a big thing of grapes. And carrots. Oh, carrots. The carrots. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because I'm remembering this. I was so overwhelmed. There were so many things happening that as I'm talking to you, things are like flooding back in my mind. The carrots. Okay, when you read this and it's like mac and cheese bites with sausage and carrots and grapes, I'm thinking like the terrible carrots that nobody likes, you know, the little gross sticks that, I mean, you know the carrots I'm talking about. These carrots were like the ones you get at Big Fire. If you've ever been to Big Fire and they have the like actual like carrots, like real fresh carrots, and they had like some sweet flavoring to them, like some, I mean, the carrots. I would just eat the carrots. I would just eat those carrots all day long. Just give me the carrots. This kid's meal, carrots, grapes, fries, sausage, mac and cheese bites served in this. I don't know what the price was, but I will eat that all day long. It was so good. Fantastic. Mead Hall, I felt like maybe wasn't that big inside, or maybe there was area that I didn't get into, but it felt like it wasn't that big. There was like a big dining area, and then I think there was like a hallway on the side that if you were maybe doing like a mobile order pickup instead of dining in, you could go on that side and get the food. So I believe that was the case, but I don't know. We sat in there and ate. Another thing I want to talk about is there are freestyles everywhere. Freestyle machines are everywhere. You are going to be so happy. There's tons of them too. There's tons of them out, like scattered about in the lands. Like I saw one, there was a bunch in between Donkey Kong and Super Nintendo World. There were some in Celestial Park. I mean, there were freestyle machines everywhere. I love that. We need more freestyle machines. So I was just thinking, because we sat by the freestyle machines in Mead Hall. We drank the mead, we drank Gobber's mead, and we drank Stoic's ale. Loved them both. My friend said the mead at Mead Hall might be the same mead that was served in Burning Blade Tavern. I don't know if there's any difference. I loved it. I don't drink mead. It's from what other people were saying to me, it's not like your traditional honey mead flavor. It's much more fruity. I thought it was really fruity and sweet. I had no problem drinking it. I loved it. I actually ordered the Stoic's ale, and when my friend was like, oh, I think this mead is the same one as earlier, I would have gotten something different if I'd known. And I was like, oh, I'll trade you. And so I swapped, and I love the mead. I love the mead. So good. It's, again, really fruity though. Really fruity, sweet. Not honey, not like a traditional mead as you'd probably think. After we finished eating, we went and rode Hiccup's wing gliders. It had been down, and it must have just opened up, because we saw like people like all like going towards the entrance. So we ran over and got in line. This is another one that uses lockers. Same thing, the nice big sized lockers. Loved it. Double-sided, so there's no congestion of people on one side and the other side trying to get their stuff. It's everyone on one side is putting in, everyone on the other side is taking off. This one, I think, was one of my other favorite rides here. Think about Slinky Dog, but like 100 times better. It was so good. It was so long. And the music, you're listening to the How to Train Your Dragon music, which is just such, I mean, that music is fantastic. And you're hearing the soundtrack as you're flying, and you really feel like you're flying because the speed, and it's just going just so, just slight moves. And then you go by the water, and it was fast and fun, and I loved it. And there's a scene where I hate spoiling this, but I know you want some spoilers, that there's the eggs, and you kind of slide back, you kind of roll back into the eggs, and they hatch, and then there's all the gronkles. I think it's the gronkles, and then is it gronkles? Maybe not. Some dragon. There's all the dragons, and they start hatching, and the animatronics start appearing, and then you launch again. And it was just so fun and smooth. And if you're one of those people that is worried about like the roughness of a coaster, the Hiccup's wing gliders is smooth like butter. I mean, this was just fluid. Oh my God, we felt like we were flying. I could do that all day. That was one of my favorite rides. I loved it. And the toothless animatronic in it when he pushes the button, so good. Great ride. It's good for families too. It's thrilling enough, but like there's no intense drops, which I'm not a big drop person, because I'm going to tell you about how I almost didn't ride Stardust, but we'll get there eventually. So I loved Hiccup's wing gliders. I mean, just the music, it just, it was so good. The only thing I will say is that it's still active construction area, so it's not complete. So I have a feeling there's going to be more things added, around the track, like maybe more plants and things like that. So I'll be interested to see when it's finished. But right now, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Perfect ride. Loved it. After that, we went into How to Treat Your Dragon, and I decided to buy a few more things. We have basically chocolate frogs for How to Train Your Dragon. And I say that in a good way. Look at this packaging, and it is How to Treat Your Dragon, and it's a mystery candy box. So we've got this dragon house, and inside is a dragon egg candy. It's a mystery. You don't know what candy you're gonna get. And a dragon training card. And you don't know what card you're gonna get. So it's a mystery. So you gotta just kind of like pick which one. That's why I said chocolate frogs for How to Train Your Dragon. So there are 4 different kind of eggs you can get. And it says on the bottom the ones that are available. There is a blackberry popping candy egg, an orange and pineapple popping candy egg, a cookies and cream candy egg, and a cotton candy crispy candy egg. So there are 4 different eggs you could get, and there is a card inside. I really just got it because I love the packaging, but I wanted to see the card. And I think it's kind of cool that it's a mystery of what candy you get. You know, I really, again, for me at least, I'm mostly buying it because I wanted the packaging and the card. But I'm curious what egg I'm going to get, and I'm going to do a little unboxing of it, so stay tuned for that. But for now, put that right back there. Another thing I'm going to mention is that all of the lands have reusable tote bags. This is the medium tote bag from How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. All of them have different designs. They're really figuring out how to get all our money, because I wanted all 4 of them. I mean, I bought this one and then I saw the design on the bigger one. I was like, oh, I want the bigger one, but I didn't want to carry the bigger one. And it even says Isle of Berk Universal Studios there on the side. And that's pretty much what the land looks like. But there's a monsters one, there's other ones in all the other lands. So if you are going to buy a reusable bag, just keep in mind what land you might want to buy your bag from. So I got dragons. We made our way through Isle of Berk a little more. We saw some dragons. Everything was not operational yet, but we did see like a big dragon moving and its mouth opening, and I don't know if smoke or fog is going to come out, but it was kind of testing. It was not making any sound, so that'll be really cool to see. There were dragon houses with like tails hanging out, and the tails were moving. When you walk around, there's the lanterns have like wooden dragons on them, and they look like almost, I don't know, coals in them. They look so good. The benches are all like wooden carved dragons, and they're all different. So all these benches all around are different colorful dragons. They're wooden and they look beautiful. There's so many details in the land. There are little things that you can crank. They look like something you could crank, and maybe it would make Toothless's wings move. There was another little interactive thing that looked like a Viking blowing into like a horn, and if you, I think, spun it in a certain way, it could make the horn go off. There were a lot of different little interactive elements. There were even like animated dragons around right by one of the gift shops. There was like a little pen with like 3 baby dragons, and they were like eating fish, and they were like pulling the fish, and it reminded me of like Pizza Predatoria, like the dragons like pulling the fish. I'm like, oh, I love them, they're so cute. And they're in the bag and just eating the fish, and the sounds, all this, everything's going on. People are going to be overwhelmed. Oh, speaking of being overwhelmed, see here, I mentioned in the beginning I was going to talk about the bathrooms, because one of my things was I was going to use the bathroom in every land. And I did. I know, right? Hooray. But okay, let's just jump to bathrooms real quick. In Darkmoor, super dark and themey, and the toilets are black. I know. I was like, the toilets are black. And it's so dark and themey in the bathroom. It's beautiful, beautiful. Went in the Super Nintendo World bathrooms, very similar to the ones out in Hollywood, where it feels very underwater. So there are murals of the fish and underwater scenes, and you hear the underwater music. In How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, there was like a big mosaic of like a Viking ship or something, or dragons. There was a big mosaic, and the sinks almost looked like dragon scales. I know, right? And then in Wizarding World, there were signs. I mean, it was beautiful, elegant, but it looked more like, because you're in Paris, right? You know, so it looked more like a Paris like city bathroom. But there was a sign that said no smoking or vaping, and I thought, I did not see that sign in any other bathroom. And when I went to Paris last year, I saw that sign in every single bathroom. So I think that no smoking is just a sign because it's supposed to be Paris, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not see that no smoking, no vaping in any other bathrooms. So I think that's just a Paris thing. So nice touch if that's the case. And then I used the bathroom in Celestial Park, and it was just, I mean, it wasn't as cool, but maybe there is a cool bathroom I didn't get to yet. I know, right? You're like, why are you telling us about the bathrooms? Sorry, I loved it. I loved the sinks in the How to Train Your Dragon one. I loved the black toilets in Darkmoor. It was cool. Anyway, back to, we are leaving dragons now. Isle of Berk, beautiful, best land for visual. We decided to make our way over to see the queue for Ministry of Magic because it is not open. It's Battle, what is it? Battle for the Ministry, sorry. The ride for Battle of the Ministry is not open, but they are letting people walk through the queue. But while we were on our way there, we noticed the Stardust Racers going by, and I mean, there were like people in the front seats and nobody else on the ride. So we thought, well, if it's nobody's on the ride and it's a walk-on, let's just do it now. Well, I didn't really want to do Stardust because I'm scared of coasters. So I have to do it, obviously. And we get in line, and it's obviously a walk-on. So, you know, luckily I didn't have time to build up the anxiety of, I don't want to do this. Luckily, I just it was too late before I got in my head to not do it. This is another one. You need a locker. This is the only one that has a metal detector. So you double-sided lockers again, put your stuff in the locker, go through the metal detector, and then go up to get on the ride. And there are two sides. And you know what? I'm like getting anxious and scared, and I don't really want to do the coaster. So I think I'm like, you know, blocking this memory out, but I think the team member told us to go up the left side. So I think there's a staircase with a left and right side. I could be wrong. I blocked this part out. See, when I get scared, it's gone. I don't remember how we loaded on left or right side. I'm sorry, I blanked out. Somehow, somewhere we made somehow we ended up on the left side. I don't know how I got there. I didn't want to be there. Somehow we got on the left side. And I was like scared, and everyone coming in was so excited on the vehicles. And I even saw someone I knew, and I was like, I'm scared. And he's like, why are you scared? I'm like, I don't want to do this. And my friends that it rode were like, it's like Space Mountain. It's like, you know, whatever. It's not like Space Mountain. It's way worse than Space Mountain. They lied to me, but it's okay. So we get on, and we are in row, I think 3. Yeah, I was in row 3, so I was towards the front. And I get on, you pull over the harness, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. And then it takes off, and it pulls out kind of slow, which is good. And I'm just going, oh man, it's too late now. And you go around, and then there's the launch, and over that first hill, and I wasn't scared. I loved it. I don't know what happened to me on that. I don't know if it was the bright colored yellow track that just, I mean, we went up and over that hill, and it was like, oh, you're like looking straight down as you go down. And it was so good. I mean, it was a little rough. It was really intense. You don't get the coming out of your seat feeling of Velocicoaster, but you get a lot of movement and it was so good. And then that second launch, it's like you launch and it's like, oh God. And then it does like this second launch, and then the second launch is like, oh my God, it's another one. And you go up, and I mean, keep your eyes open because you're gonna look at the other people. And that celestial spin where you go over each other and you're looking at each other. You're looking at people. You're looking at other people. That's what. And you're going over each other, and I don't even know what direction I was facing. Who knows what, was I up? Was I down? I don't know. But you looked at other people, and I screamed my cat's name because maybe he heard me at my house. But it was great. It was great. I wasn't even shaking, or, I mean, I got off that and I thought, I've been scared of coasters, and that was, I wasn't scared of the launch, that second launch, which I think old me before Epic Universe probably would have, been gone, but new me was like, yeah, it was so good. So good. I think it might have made me a coaster fan. Like, I think I might be brave enough to try some other coasters. Maybe not, but I would do it again. I'm so glad that I didn't chicken out, because I think that changed my life. Definitely. So after we get off that, we get our stuff. I believe there's a ride photo for that one. There were a couple places that we saw where there might, where you could buy ride photos. That was one of them at the exit. I don't know where they would have taken the photo. So stay tuned on that. But we left Stardust, and then we made our way over to Ministry of Magic, which I'm not like a big Harry Potter fan, so I thought it, wasn't gonna like wow me. But that's another one, the reveal, when you walk through, I felt like I was in Paris. I felt like I'd been there before. Like, I felt like I was having deja vu standing there. I'm like, this looks familiar. Like, I've been here. Why do I feel like this? I don't know. And I didn't even get to really explore much there because it was almost time for our preview to be over, and we did want to try to do one more ride, but we wanted to see the queue for Battle for the Ministry, which we were allowed to walk through. Everyone right now says Monsters Unchained is the best ride, and I think with Ministry not open yet, it's hard to say what's the best ride, because this could be great. I mean, I think this one's going to be mind-blowing. The queue was like a ride. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. I don't know how they did it. It's one of those things that you look and you think it's an optical illusion, and I mean, it probably really is, but you look at it and it's like, oh, these can't be real. And then you start walking and it's like, these are real. This is real. Like, this is real. This giant statue. I mean, you feel like you're walking through, I think, the subway, right? The metro. And they told us this was the first day they'd been doing the fog going through. So when you walk through the flue, I don't know Harry Potter. Please forgive me if I call these things the wrong terms. I'm sorry. I think it's the flue. It's the fireplace thing, right? So there's all these big openings that have like this glowing green light, and the smoke is coming out, and the sounds, and you walk through it, and you really, you can't see the other side until you get through it. And you really are in this fog and the sounds and the lights. And then you walk out the sky and the buildings. I don't even know where I was. I don't know. This Ministry, where was I? Someone tell me. It was insane. The offices, you could see fans moving in windows. I mean, it just felt like real. And the sky, and I mean, and everything is so shiny and new and just perfect. I mean, everything. I thought Gringotts was an impressive queue. This thing makes Gringotts look like garbage. I mean, and Gringotts is not garbage. I'm just saying, like, in comparison, when you see this queue, this thing, I would cry if I knew what it was. If I was a Harry Potter fan, I think that would probably send me into like a breakdown. I was having moments in there and I didn't even know what I was really looking at. I mean, it was magnificent. And then you move along. This is a really long queue. And then you go by the windows and you can see little details in the windows. Some of them are closed. There's posters that are moving, like similar to the ones, like the wanted posters in Nocturne. There's, what else is there? The banner for the trial for Umbridge, that's all moving and it's just giant and it's great. And then you go through and there's an animatronic in the queue. It's Higgledy, the house elf. It's Umbridge's house elf. I fell in love with this thing. She is the cutest, sweetest, funniest little adorable little house elf thing I ever saw in my life. I would die for her. She was so cute. You walk in, and I think this is supposed to be Umbridge's office. I think they're packing and cleaning it up. Again, I'm not a Harry Potter person, I'm sorry. So there's boxes and things, but all the plates on the walls, and there's all the things with the cats. So there's all the plates, the cat plates, and the cats are moving. So they're like animated on the walls, so the cats are kind of walking by on the plates and meowing and moving, and I'm just like, oh, they're so cute. And then Higgledy, she's just so cute, and she's talking about like the story and how, you know, Miss Hermione Granger, oh, it was just so cute. She's just so sweet. And we stood there and we got to stand there and listen to the spiel for a long time, because you're going to be moving through that queue, so I don't think you're ever going to stand there hopefully too long to hear the whole deal. So we stood there and listened for a while. It was great. I loved it. Walking through the queue was cool. I mean, that was so awesome. And then I wanted to take in more of the Wizarding World, but we only had like 15 minutes left, and we decided we wanted to do Monsters Unchained one more time. We actually had them call over to Mario Kart. We were going to do Mario Kart, but it was still down. So we decided Monsters. So we just kind of like ran out of the Wizarding World. So I didn't get to do any of that. I did not get to see the show. I didn't get to go in like the treat shop or anything. I didn't get to do any spells. I just kind of like basically glanced and used the bathroom and then went through the queue. And then we went over to Darkmoor. And as we were at this point, we're like making our way from that portal, from the Wizarding World portal, by the Helios on our way over to Darkmoor. And when we were walking around, you could see the big fountain, and the fountains are going, and you could kind of see like the tiered almost like steps. It kind of gave me the vibes of like City Walk, you know, where the stage is in City Walk, where there's like the steps that kind of people sit and hang out on. That's what I got the vibe around the fountain. And the fountains were going, and when we were going by, there was like a Celestial Park citizen person there doing like a storytelling with some guests, and they were finishing up and we were trying to get to a ride. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to see all these things on my next visit. So I saw that happening. So I know there's a lot of like little entertainment things happening around Celestial Park. So we ran past that, and the Helios looks amazing. We didn't get close enough to it to see too many details. I mean, we kind of ran by it, but that's going to be that view. All of you that have a park view room at Helios, you will not regret it. The views are going to be, I mean, I can't it's going to be great. And the bar and the dining and everything, the Helios is going to be the place everyone wants to go. It's going to be great. So anyway, we ran past the Helios and then we went into Darkmoor, and Igor was out and he was roaming around interacting with people, and we went and we got on the ride. It was, again, fantastic. More effects that hadn't been working earlier were working. So like one that didn't work earlier was like a projection on like a mummy sarcophagus that opened. So the sarcophagus thing like opened up, but we didn't see the projection on it. So the second time we rode, we saw the projection. So it was really cool. There's a couple effects that weren't weren't working yet. So again, May 22nd is when the park officially opens. And I just wanted to give you guys like my full day of this preview. And then after we left Monsters, it was basically the end of the day. Everything was closed. We went up to the big gift shop at the front of the park, which is kind of like got, I think it's called Other Worlds or Outer Worlds, something like that. And it has merchandise from basically all the lands. So if you were like me and you were in different gift shops during the day going, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want, this is a really great place on the way out to buy merchandise because there was a huge variety. They had the Umbridge wand, they had all sorts of things, but they also have some special stuff for Celestial Park. They have Moonship chocolates and Celestial sweets. There are different kind of candies, different kind of packaging. I got Rocky Road. There was a vegan one. I almost got the vegan one just out of curiosity, but I got the Rocky Road. I really just kind of wanted to try something from there, and it was so crowded. That's the only bad thing, was it was so crowded in there at the end of the day with people shopping. I was like, I didn't even know what to grab, and it was just like, it was almost like that FOMO, and it was just like, I just get any candy. I'll just eat any candy. I don't even care what it is. And then when we were leaving, I saw like another display of candy. I was like, oh, I would have maybe looked a little different, but I'm happy I got this, so I'm gonna try these. But I also got the pin. And then on this pin, this is a hot air balloon, and it's got the 2 characters in there. I don't know the full story of these characters yet. Obviously, we're brand new to this whole park. But this is kind of like hanging outside of that shop, like the hot air balloon with the bear navigating. And the bear is actually an original character for Celestial Park, and everyone is going crazy for him. So I, of course, had to go crazy for him, and you will too. They have plenty of merchandise, but I thought being an original character and how many people were grabbing him, I didn't want to like risk him not being there next time I go. So I bought him. But this is Captain Cacao, and he is a chocolate bear who is Maya the Explorer's navigator. Together, they are constantly scouring the cosmos for new candies and confections to share with Celestial Park. So this, again, is an original character. So he apparently goes and finds the little sweets. And he's so cute, and he's just adorable. I love the little tag on him, too. A little shoulder there. So they have him as a plush. They also had him as like a plush backpack, so like a bigger version of him as a backpack. They had some shirts. They had a couple other little things. So hopefully they'll get more of him, but he is just so cute. I love him. So I just wanted to show him off. Also, I showed this off in a video before. There's also a new toothless popcorn bucket. This one is the egg. Opens up here in the back. And it lights up. They previewed a bunch of merchandise recently, so there's a ton more that wasn't shown. This was one that was shown, but a lot of this I just showed you was not shown. don't worry, it's almost the end of the day. If you've made it this far, leave me a comment and let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There will be an opening day live stream and more Epic Universe content coming. And maybe join the Patreon. And special shout out to all my patrons. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. A few other little things before I leave the park for the day I want to talk about are the themed like wrappers and little bits and pieces. Like I mentioned how we had the Viking boat for the kids meal at Mead Hall. When we ate at Burning Blade Tavern, the packaging, the bowl had like a wrapper in it that said Burning Blade Tavern in it. So I appreciate that little attention to detail that each land has like its own little themed, you know, wrappers and bits and, you know, the little flags, the Mario flag, the Viking flag. These are little touches I love. While I was there, I also got to see the Burning Blade Tavern catch on fire. It did not happen very often, so I just happened to be standing in the right place at the right time. That the flames bursting out and on the windmill, I mean, seeing this in person is amazing. I can't believe it. I can't believe they're doing this, that this shooting out fire and catching fire, and you can feel the heat and everyone's there and watching it. It makes the dragon and Diagon look like nothing. That fire was incredible. Oh, real quick, one cool thing when you go in the Christmas store is there's a reference to Earl the Squirrel. A lot of the merchandise stores feel really immersive, and this is one of them. If you look up on, like, up above, there's like the toys going on a conveyor belt, and if you keep an eye out, you might spot Earl the Squirrel up there. There's some other windows with animations in them. Everything feels so much more lively. I'm so impressed. I have so many more things to say about this park, and I can't wait to share them all with you. This has been a very long video, so I'm probably going to end it here. I actually stood at the overlook looking out at Celestial Park. I guess I'm not ending it here. I stood at the overlook looking out over Celestial Park and reading the inscription along the Luna statue and looking out, and you can see in the water, it almost looks like cattails that might light up are in the water there. You can see the Atlantic restaurant. It was not open, but we could see like the fish hanging from the ceiling in there. That's gonna have an incredible view. The glass windows all around with the view of Celestial Park, that'll be phenomenal. I was standing there crying, you know, having a moment to myself, and someone came up behind me and said, "So what did you think?" And I turned around, I've got like some tears going down, and he said, "You're just crying because you can't take any photos." Maybe that's true. I cannot wait to get back in this park and take photos that I can share with you and videos. So again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and if you hit the bell for notifications, you'll know when we go live. I will be going live on May 22nd for the opening day, and probably maybe even on the second day as well. So I will also be hopefully going to another preview, so I'm hoping to learn all the details of the park so that I can share them with you. I want to give you guys really good advice, especially if you're going to plan a trip here. One thing I just want to throw out real quick, if you're coming for the summer, there are a lot of storms in Florida, and if there's lightning, outdoor rides will close when there's lightning in the area, so just keep in mind that outdoor attractions like Stardust Racers and Hiccup's Wing Gliders, anything that's outdoor, you'll want to try to do before any kind of storms come in for the summer. So kind of maybe do the outdoor ones during the day. I always like doing indoor rides when it's raining. So something like Monsters Unchained is all indoor. The queue is indoors. So great during rain, but I will be giving you more tips as I figure these things out. Oh, there are tons of water fountains and tons of water bottle filling stations. Water fountains in the queues, water bottle filling stations in the queues. I mean, they've really thought this through. I'm gonna have, like, again, a video with reviews and thoughts on the park. This was just my experience from my first day. I hope I didn't spoil too much. I hope I built some excitement and hype for you guys. If you have questions, leave them down in the comments as well. I'd be happy to answer them. And I will see you guys next time. Have an epic day.